You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the Black and Gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steelers Nation. It's The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you here for the next 2 hours on this Thursday as we get closer and closer to Steelers and Browns on Sunday. Going to talk to Bob Labriola here in about 20 minutes, get his thoughts on everything that transpired over the bye week and this upcoming clash with Cleveland. It's also a Thursday, so we'll do a little X-Twitter Thursday. You know where to get at us if you want to get involved. At Williamson NFL, at Wesley Uhler. And Matt, speaking of the Browns, little newsworthy, another trade for Cleveland.
They're moving and shaking.
They've been doing a lot of that, certainly. They've traded 2 quarterbacks already this season. Now a defensive back as well, too. The Browns.
A weird corner swap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally understand it, but immediately I was like, this is weird.
Okay, because that was my initial reaction yesterday, and I've obviously been kind of waiting to pick your brain about this.
Yeah.
These teams, also the Browns and the Jags, had that draft day trade as well, too.
No, the Hunter move, right.
Jacksonville go up and get Travis Hunter. So another Jags and Browns trade. The Jags, the Cleveland, sending Greg Newsome and the Jets' 2026 6th-round pick that Cleveland had to the Jags. The Browns in return getting Tyson Campbell and the Eagles' 2026 7th-round pick that the Jags had. So some third-round pick swapping in there. Day 3, pick swapping.
It's so common nowadays.
In there, common nowadays. But what really matters is the Browns send Greg Newsome, corner, to the Jags, and they get Tyson Campbell, corner, from Jacksonville in return. What's this mean? What's your thoughts on these players and this move for Cleveland?
The late pick swap hardly matters, but I didn't realize Jets could be the first pick in round 6. Eagles could be the last pick in round 7. So they're almost maybe 2 rounds difference. That's the first I knew that.
Could be 60-some spot difference.
Yeah. So it's a little more significant than I thought. I just kind of kicked that to the side, like, I'll throw in a penny to make the deal work. Okay. So both are good players. Let's start with the Jags. It's weird to swap a corner for a corner. What are we doing here? So Tyson Campbell, they kind of looked at as he's going to be our number one. Both these guys were high picks. They're both talented. They're both good players. They gave Tyson Campbell a big contract, this offseason or last offseason. And he hasn't quite lived up to that. He hasn't been a true number one corner. He's a good player, but he's not quite worth that money. So Newsome's the better player. Not by leaps and bounds, but he's the better player. And the Jags are going, well, we'll swap this corner out for a better one. It's all about money. Newsome is a free agent after this year. So the Jags look at it like, okay, we get a better player, but we don't know what the future is with this guy after this season. Sure. We'll either talk to him and extend him, which will be expensive because if he hits the open market, Newsome's make a lot of money. Or he walks and we get a 3rd-round comp pick. So we're either renting him and getting a 3rd-round comp pick in 2 years, and we're trying to win. And I don't think it has anything to do with Hunter. Hunter's also a corner, but I don't think it matters at all. Newsome's had an interesting career in that he was first-round pick out of Northwestern, size, speed, has all that stuff. He looks like a prototypical first-round corner with length and all these things. But he got drafted into a situation in Cleveland where they really have had 3 good outside corners, but none of them are a slot. So he's been forced to kind of transform his game into a slot player. Now, the other corner, not Ward, the other one got hurt and he's out for the year. So they have this Harden dude who's going to be the slot. So Newsome went back outside this year where he really belongs. And that's exactly where Jacksonville's going to use him because Jacksonville has a great slot, Jordan Lewis, the Michigan kid.
Yes.
And Newsome was fine in the slot, but he's really excelling as an outside corner, which is what he was drafted to do and everyone on the planet thought he would do. But to his credit, he's like, we got 3 outside dudes. It'd be like having 3 Joey Porters. Like, someone's got to play the slot.
That's great, but
right,
we need an off-ball linebacker too.
Right. Like,
or Joey Porter Jr., I was thinking senior.
Yeah,
but
that's what I meant.
Even
right,
still,
right, exactly.
You need a slot. Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, like, there are 3 best guys. We'll put them on the field, but we're asking someone to be a square peg in a round hole.
Sure.
So the Browns look at it through this lens of, we're not winning anything this year. I mean, it's just like the Flacco trade. I mean, we're going to play rookies. We're
looking to 2026 already.
Massively.
And this guy's probably not going to be part of that. He's going to walk in free agency.
He's going to be too expensive for us to re-sign. So we can either have Newsome for the rest of the year and maybe win one more game or have a slightly better defense, or this other high-quality corner that is under contract, and Jacksonville's almost done all the paying. They gave him the big bonus. We don't have a corner need anymore.
Getting it for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. So we'll take that dude. It's just 2 organizations being in totally opposite spots. Jacksonville sees, we might be able to win this year. No team, and I give the Browns credit, is looking to 2026 more than the Browns. I mean, they made the Gabriel move.
Yeah.
They're leading the league in rookie snaps. They're playing every young guy they possibly can. I'm not predicting this, but it wouldn't shock me at all in the next 2 weeks if Njoku, Judy, somebody or both,
other
they
trades.
Could go, play all the young dudes, play Fannin, play Bond. All these guys are getting a lot of snaps anyway. So it makes perfect sense. What I have no clue about, though, is how does it affect the Steelers on Sunday?
Yes, that's the great unknown.
Is the new guy going to play?
Is he going to play a lot?
Yeah, I mean, they're a heavy man coverage team. Mm-hmm. I guess he could just line up and play man. I mean, you don't have to be super dialed in.
Sure.
But that also leads itself to we could definitely make some coverage busts.
Yeah,
I'm new with the team.
Communication errors on the back end.
I would definitely go his direction just because he's new. He's a good player, but Ward's really good. I assume he's going to play. I mean, Flacco's playing for the Bengals.
I was just going to say, if Joe Flacco's going to play for the Bengals, I think Tyson Campbell can get on the field at least in some capacity for Cleveland.
Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense. Just where both teams are at, it's finances.
That when you kind of break it down that way, it does make a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the most needle-moving move, but one that works.
2 good corners getting swapped for each other.
One that works for both teams in kind of the current situation that they're in.
Yeah. I don't know what it means for the Steelers, but it's probably good news because the better guy left.
And there's going to be a piece of that secondary who's, trying to hop on the proverbial moving train.
Yeah, right.
And might not be completely up to speed yet.
Yep.
Yeah, though that's an interesting wrinkle. Again, not a seismic move or anything like that ahead of Sunday.
No, but
definitely,
you don't see it very often. It's pretty interesting, though.
Yes.
Right.
And definitely something to keep an eye on Sunday.
And these people are human beings. I mean, like, you've been losing a bunch of games. The people in the locker room have obviously noticed you're moving to rookies. I'm not saying they're going to stop trying, but the Myles Garretts and the veterans of the world realize we're looking to next year. If you're Jack Conklin, or
and
Wyatt
they just
Teller,
traded Joe Flacco,
right? Exactly,
yeah.
right, and
So hey, some new news as it relates to the AFC North, the Browns, and of course the upcoming opponent for the Pittsburgh Steelers this Sunday at Acrisure Stadium. Just the Steelers' second true home game. I know the one in Dublin was technically a home game, but at Acrisure Stadium. On deck here. We'll talk about all those things with Bob Labriola in just a few minutes. Matt, what do you say as we typically do here in the first hour on a Thursday? You ready to jump into some Matt's stats for this week?
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of the packet this week as always, and a lot of good nuggets in there.
I love it. If you're watching on YouTube, I got the packet here in my hands. I've got some things highlighted on this packet
all right.
as well, too.
It's not yet on Steelers.com. I just looked while I was getting coffee, but it usually is about this time. So if people want to find it,
The cheat sheet will be up soon on Steelers.com. Until then, we will run through some of these numbers for you. Let's talk a little bit about this Steelers offense here.
Okay.
Pittsburgh producing 14.8 points in the first half of games. That's 5th most in the NFL.
Yeah. How much time do we spend in the offseason? Slow starts.
First quarter differential was the worst in the league.
Right.
Cleveland producing just 6 points in the first half. That's dead last in the NFL. Now, though, kind of tale of a different story in the second half. In the second half, the Steelers producing just 9.3 points per second half. That's 25th out of 32 teams in the league. The Browns, right on their heels in 26th, producing 8.6.
Real quick on the Browns,
yeah.
they're just bad all game.
They're just bad all game.
Right? Yeah, I don't think there's any trend with them. They're just bad all game.
But here's the real kicker. The Browns giving up 13.8 points in the second half. That's 25th in the NFL.
Right.
So a Browns defense that is certainly one of the best in the league, but maybe not quite as stout in the second half of games as they are in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, and as I'm sitting here wondering, well, why? I mean, that's obviously what we want to talk about. Stats are great, but let's figure out why.
Is it just because they're getting worn down and they can only do so much and they can only hold that dam off for so long before it breaks?
I think so, but they're much better in time of possession than the Steelers. They're at least over the average. They're at 31 minutes and change, so they're above average. Obviously, average would be 30 across the league. That being said, it has to wear on you when the offense is that bad.
Has to.
You know, I mean, like, you can't be as good at the end of the games as you are at the beginning. Just watching the offense turn the ball over, 3 and out, punt, blah, 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 blah. I would think that there's something to that. Now, as much as I like the Browns defense, too, it's not real diverse schematically. I mean, like, it's a lot of single high.
It's a
lot of man.
Yeah.
They prefer to play with heavier personnel. They want to be in their base 4-3 as much as possible, all things up to them. They don't play with lighter boxes. They're going to dedicate themselves to playing the run, and they test their corners and trust their pass rush. So maybe you start to get a little bit more of a beat on it. You see the same thing over and over.
Sure.
You might get a little better at it against it as the game goes on. Do you have any theories on the Steelers' offense, why it goes backwards? I love that it's starting fast. That was the thing we complained about, was the slow start. My thoughts are you're not establishing the run.
That's exactly what I was going to go. I don't want to say it's smoke and mirrors in the first half.
No.
But I think in the first half, teams are just more honest about defending you and all the options are on the board. Whereas after 30 minutes, you're not running the ball, and Aaron Rodgers is kind of having success dinking and dunking you and kind of paper cutting you a little bit down the field.
Big time.
It's like, hey, we got to take that away and make these guys run the football a little bit. I mean, that feels like the only logical answer at this point.
Me too. I mean, because they have had some stalls. I mean, there was a stretch there where what was it, 3 and out like 3 times in a row.
Or the Patriots game, it was 6 possessions that were either 3 and out or the straight possessions that were either 3 and out or the interception to Bobby Spillane.
Yeah. So, I mean, and of course, all these stats, if you only play 4 games, if one's bad, it's going to weigh you down a lot.
Totally.
Of course, small sample size.
We
know that.
We're still, the sample size is legit now, but there's still some grain of salt elements there for the next couple weeks.
And if you go through this whole packet, I still think you get a really good understanding of how teams want to play, what they're doing well, all those type of things. You really get a feel for the teams through the numbers. But I was a little shocked that they were as good as they were in the first half. If we stress the positive, it's like,
that's great.
I know they've had good first drives, especially compared to other years, but I didn't think they'd be near the top in terms of scoring in the first half. And again, the Browns scoring is just they're bad all the time.
Yeah,
they're just not good at football, right?
And that's huge for the Steelers defense too.
Yes.
You have laid this out many times. Like, it's been very rare in TJ Watt's career, to use him as an example, that, it's the third and fourth quarter and the Steelers are up 7 or up 9 or up 10 and Renegades blaring and the terrible towels are, and everyone knows I'm pinning my ears back and I'm going to get in the quarterback.
Yeah. It hasn't happened much in his career at all.
It hasn't.
No.
There's been more of that
his
this
credit
season.
hasn't happened to Myles Garrett at all.
It has not happened to Myles Garrett.
Most pass rushers get those benefits.
And maybe that one year that they had with Baker Mayfield, when they went to the playoffs and beat the Steelers in that weird kind of COVID wild card game with only like 7,000 people in the stands. I think that's a big part of why we've seen the Steelers defense. Hey, first couple weeks weren't great, but they stabilized very quickly. And I think that's been a huge part of it. It's much easier for the Steelers defense to operate with that lead in the way that they want to play, and turning guys like TJ and Herbig loose.
And we saw a little bit of it in Dublin.
And we saw a little bit of that in Dublin.
Not a lot, yeah.
But hopefully that continues. That, to me, this is hello, Captain Obvious, no kidding. But the start in this one feels very important. Not only for just knocking Cleveland down and their morale and kind of a, oh no, here we go again, but just for what it would mean for their defense and for the Steelers' defense if the Steelers were able to get an early lead.
1,000%. Because the Browns also want to run the ball. And if you could get them out of their comfort zone, handing it to Judkins over and over.
Make Gabriel have to make some plays and make some throws.
And have those tackles protect and, Renegade. And, we've talked, we know where we're going with that.
There's a clear script, I think, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Matt, let's get to a break here. We'll talk about all these things. We'll talk about this Browns matchup with our buddy Bob Labriola when we return on the other side. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive here on a Thursday on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on the drive here. It'd probably help if I turned my microphone on, wouldn't it? On a Thursday, and you know what that means. It is time to go to the phone lines and talk to Steelers historian, Steelers.com. He's part of the pregame show, Asked and Answered here on the Steelers Audio Network. He does it all. It's Bob Labriola. Labs, hope you enjoyed your bye week. Good to be back chatting with you here in our kind of usual time on a Thursday. And partner, I can't imagine a better bye week for the Steelers as it related to their foes around the AFC North.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good NFL weekend when all coaches named Harbaugh lose. I mean, that's a good start for me all the time. The Browns lost. The Bengals lost. So, yeah, I mean, things went, it's really nice when you don't have to play and kind of gain ground in the standings.
So, Labs, I'm probably asking you a question that's unanswerable. And I was the one that was a Browns employee for 365 days. And during that year, I saw 3 head coaches, 2 GMs. Since they've joined the league in 1999, they've started 11 more quarterbacks than even the second most. Since Baker Mayfield left, they're on their 10th starting quarterback. You're older and wiser than me. How can this organization not understand that stability is really important, especially when the team 2 hours away is the model of it?
Well, the thing with me is I think really when the Browns came into the league, came back into the league in 1999, I thought they had relatively solid ownership. Mm-hmm. The Lerner family, I think, had a pretty good grasp on it in terms of, I'm not saying that, they were experts in football necessarily, but they seemed to understand what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
That, you can't, I remember Mike Tomlin used this phrase, blowing in the wind, in terms of one training camp, a quarterback competition, and he said he wasn't going to blow in the wind, and meaning he wasn't going to vacillate, every day. What the pecking order was, the quarterback depth chart. You try and go with somebody, and you want to give them an opportunity to establish themselves, them personally, and the other people around them. I don't think that Jimmy Haslam has any concept of that. I mean, the one that I will never forget, was the draft when they picked Johnny Manziel.
I figured you're going there.
With the second pick in the first round, and I remember him talking about coming out of a restaurant the night before the draft, and there was a guy sitting on the sidewalk, and the way he explained it sounded to me, like the guy was homeless. And the homeless guy said something about, you got to pick Johnny Manziel. Now, I don't know that there's anything wrong with that kind of exchange but I don't know, the way, he said it to the media as if that had some sort of impact on a decision. And I, just that to me was just, it was unfathomable that that would be true, first of all, and that the second thing is that he would admit it into a live microphone.
Right. That's insane.
So, and that's, I think that, and it is continued under, his ownership, the Deshaun Watson thing, the guaranteed contract. There just doesn't seem to, this isn't, and I always tell people who send me weird questions and ask and answered, this is not a video game. There are real flesh and blood people involved, human emotions. They have lives. You have to consider all of these things in decisions. It's not just an avatar on a video screen and the joystick moves him around and he does whatever you want. I mean, so, I just don't. And hey, as that great philosopher Juju Smith-Schuster said not all that long ago, the Browns is the Browns. And it just doesn't seem like they learn.
No, 100%. And I can tell a super quick story that I can verify is fact. It was, I think, 2 drafts before the year I was there. And they, of course, had an early pick. They were terrible. And they do all their draft meetings, and they leave for the day the night before the draft, and everyone in the room's going, okay, we're taking Richard Seymour here. I think they had the 3rd pick or the 4th pick. Consensus. We know he's going to be there. We know who's going to be off the board. We're taking Richard Seymour. 3 picks go by the next day. Everyone's just kind of sitting there with their feet up. Give Richard a call. Good. Everything went to plan. Now we're going to take Gerard Warren because we recruited him from his Florida days when we were at the U and we knew his family, so we're more comfortable with that. Like, it's just, and one turned out to be a Hall of Famer and one turned out to be not is a kind way of putting it. So
no.
It's like pin the tail on the donkey.
But I bet there's a million of those stories in that organization. And Labs, one thing I just wanted to ask you, though, because I know you're a historian of the league, too. Folks back then, and even if I wasn't involved with the team, I'd be aware of it, but they had a tougher road, and this isn't an excuse anymore, as an expansion team than like the Jags or the Panthers did, right? Like the rules were harder on them because I think the league was too kind to the Panthers and Jags. So they were pretty harsh on the Browns in terms of like expansion draft and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. I do remember that there was a little bit of pushback from the other owners.
Yeah.
The other. Well, it wasn't 32 teams at the time in '95 when the Jaguars and the Panthers came in, but maybe it was 30 teams, whatever. The other 20 plus teams, because. The Panthers, I think they were in the conference championship game in '96.
And both were successful right away. Brunell and Jimmy Smith.
The Jaguars were in the playoff.
Yeah. Baselli.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, I don't think that, the owners feel that it's in their best interest to allow the new people too much of an opportunity, to be good quick. Even though it may be good for the league, I mean, I don't know. And the franchise fee might have been more too for the Browns.
I knew there were sour grapes in the building. Like, well, we had a lot harder than the Jags and Panthers did.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, they can thank Art Modell for that, for even being in the situation.
Right. It's kind of self-induced.
They were right. So I mean, again, it's not a situation that. Wasn't somewhat, I won't say their responsibility, because none of the people who were there in 1999 had anything to do with 1995, I don't think. But, it wasn't something that the name of the franchise was totally blameless in anyway.
Labs, I wanted to ask you, you sent us all a pretty eye-popping packet, kind of dossier on the AFC North and, the kind of historic point differential and win percentage in a bad way for the division so far this season. But the Steelers sitting pretty at 3-1. I know it's a large sample size. I mean, the AFC North, when the leagues had their realignment since 2002, so it's been over 20 years. But off the top of your head, can you remember a time in these 20 or so years that the Steelers were sitting in such a pretty position in the division so early in the calendar?
No, but, I this is what I know. The NFL is a week-to-week league, okay?
Totally.
I believe, Tunch Ilkin was always a major proponent of this, and I have come to believe that as well. The league kind of resets every 4 weeks. And it really used to be convenient when there were 16 games because, 4 weeks was a quarter of the season, and Football is played in quarters, and all of that stuff just seemed to come together so nicely. But I mean, when you look at the teams that you thought were great in September, I mean, that's not necessarily the case. I mean, look at the Chargers.
I think they're perfect.
I mean, the Chargers were a hot ticket early. Look at the Chargers. Boy, Harbaugh's doing a great job, and Justin Herbert's a great player, and great this and great that. I don't think anybody's saying about them anymore. Today, I would maintain that was a heck of a win the Steelers had up at Gillette Stadium against the New England Patriots, when at the time the Patriots were thought to stink.
Seattle looks a lot better that you lost to,
Rah.
Yeah.
So, the Seahawks, losing to the Seahawks. How could they lose to the Seahawks? Well, that's another team that I think is a little bit better than people, when they looked at them on paper or the way their start of the regular season buzz was. And the Ravens, you want it the other way? The Ravens. I mean, I get it that they're injured, and there's a lot. When their inactive list last week, I mean, wow, yes, but their defense stunk when all those players were playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, so it's not. It's I don't know. It's not what it seems to be a lot of times, and I think this is one of those years now. Everybody's looking at these next two games. Oh, the Browns stink, the Bengals stink. You can't lose to these two teams. Thursday night road games are brutal.
Yeah.
They're just brutal because you play on Sunday. You really, what are you going to do Monday? I mean, in terms of with your players, you almost have to. You can't practice. I mean, guys are just, trying to get themselves out of bed and work the kinks out a little bit on Monday. And you have to introduce the game plan, pretty much. So you have Tuesday, Wednesday you got to travel. That's the rule. And then Thursday, you spend the day in the hotel. Maybe you have a walkthrough in a ballroom or something. But, that to me is a recipe for disaster. I don't care who you're playing.
Yeah.
And because NFL teams, it's easy to say they stink, but
they still have Jamar Chase and
that's right, and T. Higgins and Trey Hendrickson. So again, like I said, the numbers look good right now, but I still believe that the Steelers, or all teams really, are should be in a phase right now of stacking wins to try and remain relevant in terms of their one-loss record when they start approaching Thanksgiving, because then it starts to maybe crystallize a little bit. You have a better idea of which teams are either consistent or were flashes in the pan one way or the other, maybe, good for a little bit and now they've found their level, or they started out slowly a little bit and then they found their level. You have a better sense of, who's where. And I think that's when the things start to get, more real. But, as I said, you need to have some good numbers once you get to Thanksgiving so that you're relevant enough so that if you have can try to continue to improve over the course of the season, your one-loss record is good enough so that if you have improved, you can take advantage of it, your improvement. You're not too far away. You're not 1-9 or something, and then the hill is just too high to climb. So, everybody seems to want everything immediately. Everybody seems to want everything cut and dried today. Who's going to make the playoffs today?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to be any good? I want to know today. I'm even getting stuff. Who are you going to draft next April? I want to know today.
Yeah.
Which are the quarterbacks? who's the best quarterback fit for the Steelers? Tell me today. None of that. That's just not. It's just not real. You hear all the time people who work in the NFL, people who've been around the NFL, all of that stuff. They always say about a season, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Nobody's listening.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying attention. They don't want to hear it. I want to know what I want to know, and I want to know it now. And I want it to be a definitive yes, no, great, stink, whatever. But it's just not that way. That's why so many of these games come down to the last couple of minutes. So many of these games are one-score games. So often teams that made the playoffs last year don't make the playoffs this year, and vice versa. The NFL has created a business model where everything they want to do promotes this. They used to call it when I was a kid, on any given Sunday. That was Pete Rozell's phrase. On any given Sunday, one team can beat another team. And the parity, it's amazing. And this is what they want, the league. And the TV ratings, the networks love it. The broadcast partners love it. A particular team's fans might hate it because they want what they want when they want it. But it's going to be a ride. You hope it's not too much of a roller coaster ride in terms of the lows being too low. But really, hold on and enjoy it. But I don't know that a lot of people want to do that.
I couldn't agree more, Lab. You said a ton of great stuff there. And, I mean, all fan bases are guilty of this, but Steeler Nation's flying high right now. The division's falling apart, just won in Dublin. Everyone's getting healthy. But they happen to lose on Sunday, fire everyone, burn down the building. I mean,
right.
And that's how it's going to happen on Monday if it doesn't.
Oh, yeah, and it's, the outside noise is, and it really, I won't say it doesn't have any impact because, as I mentioned, it's not a video game. Those are real human beings. Mm-hmm. They have to live their lives
with sick kids and family and
right,
real life
whatever
problems.
It is. And the scourge of this planet, the scourge of the human race, social media. I mean, it's just relentless and unforgiving. And you'd like to tell people to, try and get the message across. Stay off social media. Don't listen to it. Don't pay attention to the trolls, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, the age group of the people who play in the NFL, that's what they know. Social media is what they know. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but the Steelers can definitely lose Sunday. If they don't lose Sunday, they can lose Thursday. Mm-hmm. It's the way the league is. I mean, who thought the Browns beat the Packers, right? There's another team that was unstoppable. Micah Parsons, oh my God, the greatest defense ever. Forget the 85 Bears, forget the 70 Steelers. This Packers defense is the greatest thing ever. I mean, I don't know if anybody's even talking about them anymore. And I'm not saying they stink. I'm just using them as an example that this is the kind of stuff. And just one more mini rant about Steeler fans. Last year, the year before, but the thing that was going to cause the franchise to implode was can't score touchdowns on the first possession, your first possession of the game. Oh my God, when was the last time that happened? Well, blah, blah. I actually did the research, and from the time Ben Roethlisberger retired until the start of the 2025 season, in 51 regular season games, the Steelers scored a touchdown on their first possession of a game 5 times. 5 times in 51 games. Oh my God. Now they're doing it pretty regularly, and it just seems to have gone away.
Yeah, yeah.
What was so important is now not even something that you hear about anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So was it important or was it not? Are we overreacting then, or as somebody once said, are you lying to me now, or were you lying to me then? Again, as I said, it's part of what fans are, and I get it. But in an era now where being a fan allows people a microphone via social media or a podcast or whatever, I mean, it's everybody's an expert. Everybody's an insider.
Yeah, and your Chargers example was a perfect one. I mean, they were 3-0 and kings of the world, and Herbert was going to win MVP, and they were going to win that division. And now a lot of people are saying they're not even going to make the playoffs. The Houston
and Herbert isn't that good.
And Herbert, exactly right. And Houston, everyone was ready to put a fork in Houston, and now they've won 2 in a row and are starting to show some life again. And they're back on everyone's kind of hype train. It is certainly such a week-to-week league in that regard. That's part of why we love it, but it also drives us insane sometimes at the same time. Labs, thank you so much. Voice of reason, voice of sanity, so often here on the Steelers Audio Network. We appreciate the time, and we'll see you on Sunday.
All right, take care, fellas.
Bob Labriola, there he goes. Great stuff from him.
I like that. He
was
had to be
great, too.
smacking the table, right.
I almost made a joke when he was like, everyone wants to know who the Steeler quarterback is going to be right now. I was going to be like, Fernando Mendoza, Indiana University.
Sign him up.
Great stuff from Labs there, as always. And yeah, hey, even at 3-1, he can find something sticking in his craw. That's what we love about Labs.
Yeah, right.
But he's right. I mean,
it's not like the Steelers are playing so much better all of a sudden because because 3 teams lost. You know what I mean?
Exactly right.
You got to
look
in the mirror too.
You love your spot right now.
Yeah.
But in the next 7 days, that could completely get flipped upside down
what
if you don't take care of business.
These? I mean,
and go to 3-3, the sky would be falling.
Oh, the sky would fall. That would be like, remember
everybody.
when they lost to Arizona and New England in back-to-back games or whatever they were big favorites.
2 years ago, I think that was, right?
Fire everyone. Burn the stadium to the ground. I mean, this organization, come on, man.
It is such a week-to-week, such a day-to-day league. That's why we love it. It's not baseball. There's not 162 games.
No.
The best.
You lost 10-1 to the Reds. Who cares?
Who cares? You got them again tomorrow.
Right,
yeah, no, it is fantastic. That's why we love it so much. That's why we're so hyperbolic about all this. But always great to have Labs on as a voice of sanity once a week here on The Drive. We have got to close down the first hour of this show. Matt, Steelers' latest practice report.
Oh, good.
Just coming across the timeline here. And there's some good news in there that we will share and we will discuss when we return on the other side. Also, a few tweets rolling in already as well. I've got some of those bookmarked and saved for the second hour of the show. We will do a little X Twitter Thursday here. If you want to get at us, at Williamson NFL, at Wesley Uhler is where you can get involved with the show today. Plenty more as we roll along. Latest injury report, practice report for the Steelers on the other side. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on The Drive here on a Thursday, closing down the first hour of the show. Keep those tweets rolling in if you want to get involved. We will get to those, as well as plenty more of Matt's stats in hour number 2. But Matt, some more pertinent kind of news of the day, if you will. The Steelers' Thursday practice report is just coming across the timeline here, and I would say mostly good news.
Good.
A lot of encouraging things here. Now, let's get to the downside. I don't think this is surprising or anything new.
Bad news first.
Jalen Ramsey and Calvin Austin still did not practice yesterday, Wednesday, or today, Thursday.
Not surprising, but
any
pretty
kind
telling.
Any kind of hope that maybe they'd be limited one of these days is out the window, and I think you can probably assume, what they say happens when you assume, but you can probably assume that neither one is going to go on Sunday against the Browns.
Now, nobody of consequence told me this, but I was at the facility today and just kind of at lunch, scuttlebutt, just talking to other Steelers. It was pretty tasty.
What was on the menu?
What did we do today? We did Cajun pasta with lobster.
Oh, yeah.
That
buddy.
was nice.
Whisper that
nice.
again slowly
That
into
was
my ear.
nice. And then a chicken chili that was quite yummy on the side. And then I
Love
had
it.
some delicious strawberries.
Moats used to always say there's only two things in this world that are undefeated. Father Time and the chefs down at the Steelers facility.
Pretty strong.
On the south
Pretty
side.
strong, yeah. Where was I going with it?
With Ramsey
just some
and
of the
Austin and
scuttlebutt
the
was
scuttlebutt, yeah.
not that Ramsey's. You'd love to have him against the Browns. Don't get me wrong, but you really want to have him for the Bengals.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? I think that's the goal. Not like, oh, we're taking the Browns lightly, but Chase and Higgins are on the Bengals and they're not on the Browns. The Browns are the tight ends. You know?
Correct.
Yeah,
yes. 100%. Makes a lot of sense. So that's the not surprising, but just kind of not encouraging news either.
Right,
just
right.
kind
We
of
were keeping our fingers crossed, but that's probably time to uncross.
Exactly right. Neutral to where we've been. Good news for Ben Skronik. He was limited Wednesday with an illness. Full practice participant today.
It's amazing how quickly they heal from like serious flus and things like that.
Some of the medicine and stuff that they have to give those guys is not the same stuff that we can get over the counter.
I referenced it, I did the year with the Browns, but like I'd be all sniffly and I'd go, my boss and everybody's like, go downstairs and tell them.
Yep.
Like I thought that was players only. He's like, they'll just give you a pill and you'll be fine tomorrow, dude. And I'm not close to an elite athlete or even a adequate athlete.
There was one time on the road 2 years ago. In fact, I think it was in Cleveland, actually, if my memory is serving me correctly, that I was hurting. I was struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And Missy Matthews was like, don't worry, I got you. And like
went into the...
I don't think, like, she had, I think, asked somebody and all that.
Yeah. I mean, she did pull the drawer and, get right your prescription.
I felt like I was going to lose my lunch.
Like I'm in trouble, yeah.
And she was like, here, I got this for you. And 20 minutes later, I was like, I'm ready to conquer the world. I'm fine.
Yeah, they get you better.
So good news for Ben Skronik in that regard. Also, Matt continues to be awesome, encouraging progress or status of Joey Porter Jr. He was a full participant again today after being a full participant yesterday.
Cleared. I mean, like he's out of the...
Jalen Warren, same as well. 2 straight days of full participation. Cool. So I think we expected that, but it's still good to see no setbacks or anything like that for those two.
Setbacks worry you during the week, but I think we're like in the clear.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. We'll get Labs to
he
hammer down on the desk
right.
one more time. And then the very good news: after being limited in yesterday's practice, Alex Highsmith full participant today.
Nice. Seems like the plan on a bye was give him a little more, give him a little more, give him a little more, and maybe they'll do the same on game day. Okay. We're planning on having a pitch count on you. We'll see how you handle things. Maybe just start out on third downs. Herbig's playing really well. Mm-hmm. Who knows? I don't know what their plan is. I'm just making stuff as I go. But it might be like, he's fine. Just play him as much as he wants.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I think it could be like same church, different pew of what we saw from Derek Harmon in Foxborough.
Yeah. Great example.
Everyone was thinking
10 snaps.
He'll play 10, 15 snaps.
Dip his toe in the water.
He plays really well and looks healthy and ends up playing 34, 35, I think it was.
Now, one thing that complicates things a little, as Labs mentioned, you do play really, really soon again. So things always are going to hurt. But if I have something that hurts more than most or I'm rehabbing from,
good point.
What does Monday and Tuesday look like for Porter, Warren, Highsmith, et cetera,
Good point.
Let alone whoever gets dinged on Sunday.
Absolutely.
But that's a typical Thursday thing, and when your coach has done this a million times, that's helpful,
Exactly right. Yeah. That's a very, very astute observation by you there as well. We also just moments ago got the Browns practice report.
Oh, we haven't touched on that much. I don't know what's going on with them as much.
We got like 30
seconds. They're not coming off a bye, yeah.
Because they are not coming off a bye, and they've got some more issues than the Steelers, certainly. We've got like 20 seconds here, though, till we got to get to a break. Let's start with the Browns to start the second hour,
Absolutely.
and then we'll jump back into some Matt stats as well, too. Plenty to get to in hour number 2, including your tweets. You know where to get at us if you want to get involved. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, halfway home. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Well, that's good. Us too. Hour number 2. I'm going to get a chuckle out of Matt every time. As long as he keeps chuckling, I'll keep doing it. Hour number 2 of The Drive here on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network as we get closer and closer to Sunday. And you know what, Matt, just real quick off the top, like it's going to be nice to be at Acrisure Stadium on Sunday.
It's been a while, right?
I know that Vikings game counted as a home game, but that's the furthest game that the Steelers are going to play all season at the same time as well.
We're pretty deep in the season to not have much Acrisure action, you know?
I mean, like I'm driving home from work and everyone's got their Halloween stuff out.
Yeah,
You know, Costco's got Christmas stuff out already.
Yikes.
It's getting dark at 7 o'clock now.
Sure.
And the Steelers have played one
Game
true
in their
game,
building.
one home game at
Right.
Acrisure Stadium.
Which means there's a lot coming up.
Which means there's a lot coming up, which is the good news of that.
And you're sitting in good shape.
Sitting in good shape and hopefully getting a right opponent at the right time in those Cleveland Browns who are,
They scare me a little, though.
They always do.
Yeah, I mean, the defense scares me.
They particularly scare me in Cleveland, where the Steelers, I think, have lost 3 years in a row there. The Browns have...
I meant to ask Labs this, and sorry to interrupt you.
No,
there,
you're good.
But, I mean, I hate that so many Thursday games are division games.
Hate them.
I mean, and I've asked many people why that's the case. There's one tonight. There's going to be one next week, including the Steelers. There's a lot of them. And they do them on purpose because the league says, well, you know this opponent better than others. It's easier for you to prepare.
Interesting.
That's their logic.
I figured it was like because Jeff Bezos wrote a huge check for Amazon to have the rights to that.
Well,
And they
I
just
think
want
there's
games that
also
people are
money
interested
important
in.
too. Yes, obviously.
A little bit of both.
But the fact that they basically count double as other games, I hate. It's so much harder on the road team. And Steelers at Browns on Thursday night is the best example ever.
I feel like the Steelers have kind of gotten the short end of the stick in that regard. Like a lot of their Thursday games over the recent years have been on the road against a divisional opponent.
Off in Cleveland, it doesn't go well.
Wasn't that
right,
Snow Globe game was a Thursday game, I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly.
1,000%.
As Mr. TV, our video producer, nods his head over there. Now you got to go on.
They mean way more.
Way more.
Yeah.
Like a few years ago when the Steelers hosted one, it was at home against the Titans, if I'm recalling correctly. Okay, great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the division ones are tough, and especially it feels like the Steelers get most of those on the road.
Now, what I'm hoping, and I know we want to get to this practice report, is if and when 18 games, 2 byes come, that game is with 10 days rest.
Yes.
Great.
It makes more sense.
That's great.
Yeah,
right. You can still put a great product on Thursday night for everyone to see, but one team doesn't have to turn around and, be there in a day.
Labs made a great point. Monday, you're doing nothing.
Nothing.
But recovery and trying to break down
the
film.
coaches are doing everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
They're like sleep. They're going like Sunday night to the office, probably,
Right.
the Steelers after the Browns game.
On the plane.
I would imagine the coaching staff is going back to the south side of the offices after that Browns game Sunday to
Let
break
alone
down.
if you have a road game on Sunday before.
Oh, even worse. Terrible. And
you get like half a practice.
You get like half a practice on Tuesday, and then Wednesday you practice and you get on the plane. It's just, it's not ideal.
It's not right.
At all. And speaking of those Browns, here's what they've got in their injury report. I guess some good news, some bad news. Joel Bitonio went from limited on Wednesday to full participant today.
Okay. I don't think he missed any time last week.
No, I don't believe so. Malachi Corley has been limited both days with a groin injury. It's one to keep an eye on, certainly.
Yeah, he's not part of the mix much, though.
Grant Delpit, full participant with an ankle injury. Mike Hall, the defensive tackle, has been limited the past 2 days with a knee injury.
Okay.
Here's the big one, though, Matt. For 2 days in a row, Wednesday and Thursday, Myles Garrett limited with an ankle injury and no resting vet status there. So just purely limited with an ankle in practice yesterday and today was Myles Garrett.
That's all news to me. Let's not get our hopes up.
Yeah, no doubt. But I think it's still noteworthy. And
it's something to massively keep an eye on.
Less than ideal if you're Cleveland, certainly. DeMonte KZ has not practiced yet this week.
I forgot he's with them. Yeah,
formerly of this parish. He did not practice Wednesday or today with an illness.
Okay.
So something to keep an eye on there. Let's see here. KT Levittson, the tackle, has been limited Wednesday and Thursday with a calf injury.
Okay. They want to replace him with Cam Robinson anyway.
Yes, correct. And then good news for Denzel Ward. He was limited yesterday with a hip injury, but was back to full participant today.
Okay. And Ward's a great player too, but I mean, it sounds like he's going to play.
I think so.
Okay.
So
they're in pretty good shape all in all. I'm going to assume Garrett's playing.
I'm going to as well too.
Right.
Well,
I'm sure they don't need to practice him hard to get him on the field.
That's he is the proverbial veteran that just get yourself right for Sunday, and that's all that matters. But yeah, going to be something that we'll keep an eye on tomorrow as well, too, certainly, with some of those final reports and see if anybody's ruled out and who's questionable and doubtful and all those different things.
Last Garrett note, though.
Yep.
I've mentioned all week how impressed I am with him, and I think he's leveled up this year. But the Minnesota game was definitely his worst game of the year. It wasn't like he was a bad player, but
least impactful.
And I wonder, did he have an ankle early in that one, or maybe you get that version of him. I think he's going to play, but I mean, if you get that version as opposed to the superhuman, then good.
And I don't think I'm breaking any news here, but if you're dealing with some type of injury like that and then having to get on a plane for 8 hours to fly home is not the greatest
Didn't think of that part, right.
thing either. I mean, that's a big part of the reason why the Steelers had Alex Highsmith stay back.
Yeah.
It's a big reason why they had to get Calvin Austin evaluated at a Dublin hospital before he could get on the plane. Because you have some of those injuries and you get on a plane for that long, it can really make the swelling and some of the issues worse.
Yeah.
Again, if you have a 40-minute flight from Buffalo to Cleveland,
so be it. Right?
So be it. But a 7.5, 8-hour flight back from Europe, back from England, completely different story. Matt, I wanted to, for the back half of this segment and our next segment, get back into some Matt stats with you, if that's all right with you.
Always.
And let's kind of start or continue maybe Steelers offense, Browns defense, because I think that's where a lot of the meat of this matchup is.
The Browns defense is a lot better than their offense.
A very good Browns defense against, I think, a Steelers offense that is coming off of one of their most encouraging performance since the opener against the Jets.
Yes.
I think certainly. So let's talk about this. Steelers using play action 13% of the time. Only the Falcons, Jets, Eagles, and Bucks use it less. This is another thing we spent a lot of time talking about at the start of the season. Still very low play action numbers for the Steelers. Yeah,
and I'd like to get to the bottom of it more because week 1 against the Jets, it was very high. I want to say it was like 39%. Because I remember in Matt's stats for week 2,
it was in the 30s.
I was citing things along the lines of, that's the most play action Aaron Rodgers has used in a decade or something crazy like that. Because he is not big on play action over the course of his career. He doesn't love it. But it worked really well. They put up a ton of points against the Jets. He was highly successful with play action. And I wonder, they've clearly gotten away from it. Is it his uncomfortableness with it? I bet not. I bet. All right, let me do this. If we operate
Peeling
under
back the curtain a little bit here.
Yeah, and I don't know this, and I don't know that I even believe it. But if they believe it, it's all that matters.
Correct.
If they're super worried about their pass protection, it just explains a lot of how they play offense. I mean, all the short passing, lack of shots.
Well said.
Lack of play action,
That's
which
one
takes
of those,
longer.
You'd love to give Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith some truth serum and get their honest answer on that.
And I think the best analyst, and I think I'm pretty decent at this, can read the tea leaves of why teams do things. Dale and I talked about this for years.
Especially after 4 games, too.
Right. That there's a couple times during the years that during the year the teams don't lie to you or to anyone. The draft. They're going to pick the player they want. They're not trying to throw a smoke screen and take the guy that they don't like.
Unless it's the Browns and they pass on Richard Seymour for one of their buddies from the U.
Free agency, hires and fires, where they spend their money. When people tell you at the podium, it's sometimes true, sometimes isn't. Sometimes you got to read the tea leaves for all teams. But what I love about off-season acquisitions is no one lies, or
Absolutely.
a trade or whatever.
Absolutely.
Other reasons or the other things you have to decipher or, get the decoder ring out and figure it out. But it seems kind of apparent that they don't trust their pass protection. Or a lot of these things wouldn't be the derivative of it.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think you can kind of combine that with the fact of worried about the pass protection and worried about the exposure, the hits for 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. I think it all goes hand in hand.
If you've got 27-year-old Ben
Sure.
or 27-year-old Aaron, you're
Right.
more likely to let him sit back there and still take some of those shots, even in the face of some protection concerns.
For 2 reasons.
But not
First
when
of
it's
all, you're in
41-year-old
better
Aaron.
shape and you're less likely for injury. I mean, The older you get, the more brittle you get. Anyone that has kids, you guys both had young kids, they can fall down the steps, they don't even know it. You know, you can bounce them like basketballs, they don't even know it.
They my daughters fall off their bike, and I'm like, ooh. And
it hurts me for a week to watch that.
I got a little. Give me a Band-Aid down.
Right, they might cry for a minute, but they're fine. Where I'd be weeping like an old man. And they just don't protect themselves in the pocket as well either. You know what I mean? Like they don't elude they're not as mobile. You know,
sure,
right.
Sure.
So I think that's part of it. But I think if you look at the roots, I don't know that they trust their protection.
And again, if it was one game against Seattle that they didn't trust their protection and that defensive front, okay, fine. But it's
a theme.
4 games against 4 different opponents, and it is now certainly a theme.
The play calling and way they've played offense implies strongly that they don't trust their protection.
And Matt, another one of
your. When do you learn to trust it? You know, you can't live that way forever either.
You cannot. You absolutely cannot. And this kind of paints that picture as well, too. A great stat by you. Air yards per attempt in the NFL so far this season.
Yeah.
The Steelers are dead last at 4.7 yards.
Now, I don't like saying last. They're lowest.
Lowest.
Because the ones that's highest doesn't mean that they're hitting 80-yard bombs left and right.
Great point.
Chucking and ducking, right.
Lowest air yards per attempt on average at 4.7 yards. They're the only team in the NFL.
But I put the other ones that are close on purpose.
And they're not really that close.
That's why I put them in there.
The Cardinals at 31 are 5.9, a full yard higher.
So much more, right. And they're 31.
The Steelers are the only team under 5 yards. The Cardinals are the only team under 6 yards.
Yeah.
So, like, the Steelers at 4.7 yards, air yards per attempt at 32nd in the league. The Patriots, who are at 28th, are 6.9.
That's a massive difference.
Full 2-yard difference.
Massive difference.
And that's only 4 spots ahead in the pecking order.
Exactly.
That, to me, is, again, you read the tea leaves, you look at the numbers, and you cannot deny some things.
Yes, these are strong trends. They're not even trends. These are facts.
Facts.
These are what you are right now.
That number, to me, aids in painting that picture that you were just breaking down for us.
And it's a little too extreme. Like I said, it's not last. And it isn't last. It's the lowest. But I'm not saying it's good either. You don't want to be that extreme, I mean, and again, they're really good after the catch. Rodgers is great in the quick game, all those things. But I think you're going to have to push the ball down the field at some point. I mean, I don't think you can live that way for 17-plus games.
Absolutely.
No chance.
And maybe this is not the Sunday that we start to see it.
I don't know.
Against this Browns defense.
Yeah. Maybe the Bengals are throwing it 20 yards left and right. I don't know.
But at some point, you're going to have to stretch the field. Yeah. You're going to have to push that thing downfield.
We have enough data that tells us a lot of things about the passing game. Yeah.
Yes. Here's some good news.
And real quick, that's why I tweeted it that way, as opposed to saying Steelers are lowest in the league. Well, look at the ones right behind them, too. They're not even close.
Not even close.
Right.
I'm really glad you included the others there because that paints the picture of how conservative it's been.
Because there are some stats where, okay, the Steelers are 29th in the league. It's this. But they're really not that much different from the 22nd team or the 18th team.
You need that full scope.
Right.
Matt, last one here before we go to break and get into some more of these. The good news is the Steelers have been very good, very efficient in the red zone on offense. 69.2% of the time scoring a touchdown, which is 8th best in the NFL. Cleveland, for their offensive struggles, they're 10th best in the NFL, not too far behind the Steelers at 66.7%. Here's the kicker, though. The Browns' defense, dead last in the red zone.
Yeah.
78.6% of the times allowing a touchdown when teams get down to the red zone. How's that work for me, that this defense has been so good, so stingy, but they're really bad in the red zone?
I don't have an answer why. I would have to watch every red zone snap, and maybe there's only 8 of them. I mean, there
could just be a small sample size.
There's more than 8, but I mean, maybe there's only 8 drives or something. I mean, there's definitely small sample size because they are good on defense. A lot of times teams will go to more man in that situation, and they're a good man coverage team. They rush the passer. They're the best run defense in the league. But there's 2 things, actually, and Tom Offerman and I have been talking about the last 2 days because I do 2 shows. I do a Wednesday show with him and Tim, and we do a Tuesday podcast, too. You can find it on Steelers.com. And there's, as good as this defense is, there's 2 things that they're at the bottom of the league in. Red zone defense, which the Steelers' red zone offense is great. That's not a good thing. That's a bad matchup for the Browns for sure. That's not something you want to be weak in this game for. And their short pass defense is really bad. Well, we just talked this to no end. Right. So the more I think about this week, I love that the Steelers ran the ball in Dublin. great. Run the ball. They might just stink and dunk like crazy and just not try to run the ball against the best run
Aaron
defense.
Rodgers passes, and 30 of them are within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage.
And they're all super short. And maybe they do max protect and throw some bombs on top of it. I think that's should be in the cards, especially against single high safety you're going to get.
At least certainly some intermediate routes, too.
And the Browns don't like light boxes. That's another thing I tweeted out, too. So you should have a lot of bodies near the line of scrimmage. So I think this is a good time to take shots, and maybe you bring Anderson in not to mash their face, but to help protect,
Yeah.
So, but if they don't run the ball well this week, it might be not by design, but it might be that's not the priority.
This is not where we're going to make hay this week.
I know it's the smartest move.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and
their short passing is not great. Rodgers is killing it,
That makes a lot of sense. And especially now, again, 4 games into this for the Steelers, 5 games into this for the Browns. Those trends are like fact. And,
yeah.
And I think you know what you do well at this point. You know what they do well and where they struggle. And you love it when those kind of blend together and what will hopefully be a successful passing attack and hopefully some red zone success for the Steelers offense on Sunday. Matt, let's take I guess I almost said final break. It's not our final break. Our penultimate break here, if you will. Closing down, I got some more Matt stats I want to run by you before we get to our last segment where we will close with some tweets. So keep those rolling in at Williamson NFL, at Wesley Uhler if you want to get involved. It is The Drive here on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Final dive into Matt's stats packets here on this Thursday, Matt. Let's continue rolling through some of these. I wanted to go big picture here to start with this one because we have talked a lot of the AFC North and the outlook and the good position that the Steelers are in at this point. Steelers are 3-1. If they move to 4-1 with a win on Sunday, 79% of the time, teams that start 4-1 go to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong indicator.
Pretty good.
Right,
4 out of 5 times, basically,
right.
If you hit 80% there almost.
Now, that's from year 2000. This comes straight from the league. This is some of the stuff Lab sends us. Comes straight from the league. It's from the year 2000. I'm sure it's altered a little now that 7 teams go as opposed to 6 the whole time. So it's probably even
extra
higher.
Game now for a few years, too.
Yeah, so there's 17-game schedule and 7 teams go. So it's actually probably higher than that.
Probably more like 82, 83, 84%, something like that. That's a great point by you. This is, though, kind of the razor margins that Labs was referencing. If the Steelers were to fall to 3-2,
which doesn't seem that bad. You're still a winning record, right?
50% of the time, 3-2 teams make the playoffs. So you're a coin flip.
Yeah.
You are a proverbial coin flip. A crazy stat that you have in here in this packet this week. Cleveland has led on the scoreboard this season for only 6% of their offensive plays. Only the Tennessee Titans are lower.
It's hard to believe.
It's very hard.
6%. And somebody's lower. That's how bad the Titans are bad. Right.
But I guess that Green Bay win, they weren't in the lead till the very last play, right?
Right.
Where they kicked that field goal to win.
I think they never led on the scoreboard in regulation. Right. It was zeros when they were right.
Correct. Because it was tied when they kicked that field goal. And so I guess
I guess they didn't get the first score.
Right.
Right.
And that 6%, I think, was all from the Vikings game or maybe there was a brief period in the Bengals in the opener where they led
one
of
those games
too,
they could have been up 7-0 for a minute, and then the next team goes on and scores.
You run 100 offensive plays, 6 of them you were in the lead for. 6%. That is wild.
That is wild, and it affects the play calling and everything, of course, too. It's like we're losing already, right?
And that I think plays into how the Browns' defense has been much better in the first half than the second half.
Yeah, I think that leads to it.
How long could you be the Hoover Dam and hold the water off before it busts forward?
Yeah.
It's human nature. It's only reasonable.
Like, I forget the number, but like the Ravens last year and especially the Eagles last year, their number was like 70%.
I'm sure.
You know, like they always have a lead. Barkley, Henry, coming at you like crazy in the second half. And you got to think, a lot of the time for the first 3, 4, 5 minutes of the game, it's 0-0 if you don't score off the bat.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of them that are just a wash, or you get 3 points and I answer with 3 points.
Matt, you referenced time of possession earlier on.
Really worries me with this team.
Yeah, let's paint this picture and dig into this a little bit more. Steelers opponents, through their 4 games, have run 54 more offensive plays than the Steelers.
Yeah.
Average of 11 more per game that the Steelers defense is on the field than their opposition.
It's going to wear on you.
It's going to wear on you.
Yep.
And you can draw a direct correlation to the Steelers' time of possession per game, which is an average of 26 minutes and 46 seconds. Third lowest in the league, only ahead of Cincinnati and Baltimore.
Yeah. The only way you can survive that way in the long term is to be like the most explosive team in the league. You're like, okay, I get the ball, you kick off to me, and I hit a 70-yarder, and I only eat up 18 seconds of play clock, but I scored 7 points. But that's not, that doesn't.
This was a big thing. You remember when it was at the same time that Chip Kelly was at Oregon and had them humming.
When they were playing like at light speed.
And one of the top 10 teams in the country.
Yeah.
And Rich Rodriguez was at WVU, his first stint, and top 10 team in the country. And those two teams were like such outliers because their time of possession for their offense was like 24, 25 minutes a game.
Because they played so fast.
Because they played so fast and were scoring so quick.
And 3 and outs hurt you bad, though.
But it was exactly
like
right. 3 and outs, you're taking
I got
like
1 sip of Gatorade, like, dude.
Yeah. And so a big part of that was like, yeah, these teams are finishing in the top 10 every year and they're winning double-digit games and they're having a ton of success. But if they want to win national championships, they can't have their defense on the field that often. There's a real kind of chicken or egg thing there.
Well, and as you know, especially at a huge school like Oregon, too, I'll just go, the second team dudes are also on scholarship. The third team dudes are also on scholarship. Your rosters are deeper. Your benches are better. You can handle it better.
Sure.
Right.
For sure. But that was one of the things that it was like anytime Oregon would lose a game, it'd be like, well, that 24 minutes of possession is finally catching up with them.
Yeah.
And there was some truth to that, but it was also
And I'm sure the defense didn't love it.
No.
But at least the defense was playing with leads.
Some of those early, like, Chip Kelly, Mike Leach, Rich Rodriguez offenses, you could not have enjoyed being the defensive coordinator for those teams.
And when Kelly came to the Eagles, it didn't work.
At all.
You can't play that game in this league.
An absolute disaster.
Right.
I mean,
53-man rosters, and you have 2 injuries, and, right.
Despite their struggles on offense, the Browns actually 31 minutes and 7 seconds average time of possession.
Yeah.
Which isn't blow the doors off of you, but that's a slightly better than league average.
I think a lot of it's because their defense is really good. Yeah, I mean, they get off the field.
They get off the field a lot.
They make plays.
Yeah, they force 3 and outs plenty of times.
And Judkins we haven't talked enough about Judkins. He's a really good player.
We're going to talk about him plenty tomorrow, for sure.
He's easily their best offensive player to me.
Yes.
And really, really impressive. Better than I thought he was at Ohio State, So they are built a little bit better to eat clock.
Moats and I would do this from time to time as well. If you could steal any one player off the Browns and put him on the Steelers, and I'm going to say you can't say Myles Garrett because that's just a cheat code.
Okay.
Would it be Judkins at this point?
We haven't had this conversation. I think years ago you brought this up. I'm a sicko.
You are a sicko. That's why I love you, Matt Williamson.
I play this game in my own warped cranium.
Love it.
All the time. And sometimes, like when I can't sleep at night, I'll be like, all right, I'm doing the NFC West. And lay there.
You'd have been a really good Madden player.
Oh, dude. Because I have rules in my head. And you're not allowed to take quarterback.
Too easy.
No matter what, you can't take quarterback. Even if you're the Chiefs and you're Mahomes, But I only do it for the Steelers. But sometimes I even get crazy and be like, what if I'm the Bengals? I'll play the game. Because I already went through the league in the last month or whatever.
I love this.
What bear would I take if I'm the Bengals? Or what Bengal would I take if I'm the Bears? So you're not allowed to take a quarterback in my rules, in my little brain. And we can play this every week if you want.
Love it.
And you get the player as is. Meaning age, contract.
Everything involved.
Yeah,
you can't just say, I want to add Myles Garrett to the team.
Okay. You might have to cut someone to do it in cap space and all these things too, And so I love that game. I play it in my own world.
I'm putting this on our weekly outline here, by the way, right now.
Should we do the Browns?
Heck yeah.
They're a bad team to pick from. I mean,
there's maybe an offensive lineman or two there that we wouldn't hate.
I don't like their line at all. It's too old.
Judkins. We're going to get him on his rookie deal for the next 4 years.
I'm not sure there's a team I would take a running back, though, because running backs I can get one in the second round. They got him in the second round. Like, often I'm going to take a left tackle or a wide receiver.
Totally.
Or a pass rusher.
If Joe Thomas was still on the Browns, this is the easiest conversation ever.
Of course. If I have to take an offensive player, though, it's probably Judkins, which is, frankly, a slap in the face to the Browns, because not a slap in the face to him. It's a compliment to him. He's really good. But he's also got off the field. I mean, we got to take the real thing,
no doubt.
and I rarely play that game
with it.
because he's not guilty of anything. I don't know the young man, but there could be a suspension looming. I mean, this is public knowledge,
Yeah, you're
frankly,
not breaking any news. Yeah,
the wide receiver Bond, he turned himself in for domestic stuff.
Yes,
that you can find anywhere. I mean, he's not a good guy, and you have to put those things into account. Now, of course, you take Garrett. We can do it minus a superstar too.
it's just more like the answer is Garrett. You'd find a way to fit him into your cap
trade
scheme
Highsmith
and all that stuff,
whatever.
Right.
You find a way to make it work.
Exactly
and
right.
You turn T.J. Watt or Garrett into a first-round pick or whatever. You just take him because he's awesome. But there's not many to pick from on this team.
Denzel Ward. I mean,
maybe, but I like the corners.
It's at a position of strength now. Like last year, that would have
It's
been
an easy one, right?
Yeah.
It's an easy one. I mean,
Would you go Mason Graham, Young?
If I liked him better, yes. I just don't like him very much,
No.
and I would not have picked him at that pick.
I think he's okay.
And he's been better than I thought so far, but I don't think he fits the scheme, and I don't like him very much. I mean, I really like the off-the-ball linebacker, Schlesinger. I mean, like, with this team, a rookie would go a long way because I got him cap-controlled for a long time. But I don't think Steelers need a linebacker, a true linebacker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For the inaugural our version of this is maybe the worst team we could pick.
It's one of the worst.
Right, because there's a lot of
even with
other
Cincinnati, there's a couple superstars on
like
each side of the ball.
Chase.
Yeah,
You're right.
Chase,
Yeah, right. A lot of these teams, like,
but if you take
Sutters,
Chase out of the equation, I'll take T. Higgins. No problem.
right. But a lot of the teams, there's a fun discussion. Would you take Sauce Gardner or Garrett Wilson or Quinn and Williams or Membo? Or
Patriots would have been a fun one.
Right. I mean, we could even go back in time. We should have done the bye week. Maybe it is Judkins. I haven't done the Browns in my head for a while. I haven't had a hard time sleeping. Right.
Haven't had a hard time sleeping lately.
You put him next to Warren for 4 years, next couple of years or whatever. You're pretty happy
nice
about
thunder
it.
and lightning combination there.
I wish there was a young O-lineman or a receiver I loved, but it wouldn't be Fannin. It wouldn't be Graham, I don't think. Maybe it's Graham, but this is maybe my last team to do this with. I mean, other than if Garrett's not allowed.
Yes.
And Garrett's not a need. Most teams I would not take an edge rusher.
Yes.
Right.
Correct. Because you also want to marry this with our biggest weaknesses.
Absolutely. And cap issues and youth and, you need another expensive 31-year or 29-and-a-half-year-old guy.
Right.
Well, if he's awesome, yes. But
if he's a world crusher.
You're right.
Yeah,
if he's a
certainly.
first ballot Hall of Famer, yes.
Certainly. Okay, getting back to this. That's fun. We'll continue to do it. Well, I think Judkins is my answer. We'll continue to do
I
that
understand it
throughout the.
People will like this game because I get real nerdy about it.
I believe it.
I used to let myself have the option of anyone on the roster not name a quarterback or their first-round pick next year. In this case, I would definitely take their first-round pick next year.
100%.
Like, if you get any asset from the Browns,
that's a top five pick.
I want their first-round pick.
That's our quarterback right there, Matt. That's Dante Moore, Mendoza, or Norris Sellers.
Whatever you
getting
want.
One of those three with the Browns first overall
But that ends up
pick.
being too easy for some teams. You just take the pick.
Yeah, totally. A couple more things that kind of paint that picture.
I'm obviously a sicko, by the way.
You are. Yeah. That's why I love you. Browns running the third most plays per game in the NFL, little over 66 per game. Steelers fourth fewest at just under 54 plays per game.
Let me stop you super quick.
Yeah.
The Steelers play slow on purpose. That's a Rodgers thing. They go deep into the play clock.
Deep into the play clock. Likes to see what the defense is doing. Pay a little.
Which should help your time of possession, but doesn't help you run a lot of plays. Like, fantasy people are so smart. Like, you don't want fantasy dudes from offenses that don't run a lot of plays. Especially running backs and quarterbacks. But I wonder one thing I should look at, and maybe I will tonight. Do the Browns snap the ball quickly? I bet they do, especially when they're losing.
Sure.
Because you play faster.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a very good point by you.
And that data is out there now. Like, there's so many sickos out there. Right.
There's a lot of people that are making a living doing this, certainly, and for that we are grateful.
Pace stats. You know?
We are grateful for you and your kin, Matt Williamson. Games with the Cleveland Browns are averaging just 39.2 combined points scored. That's second fewest in the NFL. Just 536 combined yards. That's fewest in the league. That's what Matt.
And I put the average yards on there.
Yes,
it's way under
656.
I mean, think about that. I mean,
120 yards on
less than the average NFL game.
That to me, possessions, plays, opportunities are at a premium in this one for the Steelers.
1,000%. Right. There probably won't be points. There probably won't be a lot of yards. Yeah, I mean, I'm warning people, like, if they win this one in a low scoring game, and
great, fine.
And on Monday, people are complaining, but they only had 210 yards of offense. That's how every Browns game goes.
Fine.
Right. That's playing your opponent.
You've only got so many at-bats against this team.
Yeah, right.
Hit some singles and drive in a couple runs and win a low-scoring game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how Browns games go.
That's exactly it. The Browns have blitzed on just 16% of early down dropbacks, lowest percentage in the league. Steelers 42.5% of the time, second highest percentage in the league. Only that sicko Brian Flores in Minnesota are higher.
I'm a little shocked the Steelers are that high.
Same.
And they bring a lot of six-man pressures as well.
Especially after being very low in that department last year.
Yes.
Like, this is a
I don't dislike
180.
it. I mean, this is something we talked about in the offseason a lot. I think it's because of the corners. When you only have one corner you trusted last year, you couldn't blitz as much because there was only Porter. Now you got 3 you trust, or 4. Browns just don't need it. I mean, it's flat out done.
Period.
Yeah, and I know that people are critical of the Steelers of not being an execution-based offense, that they don't do a lot of different stuff. The Browns don't either. You know, they play a lot of single high. They bring 4. You know,
they're pretty
and
static.
they're really good at it.
Pretty static team as well. Last ones for you, Matt. Some bigger picture stuff, just to kind of set the table, set the scene. Let's go to Mike Tomlin first. Two very good indicators for the Steelers in this game as it relates to Mike Tomlin's tenure. The first, Garrett Gabriel. That's a kid I went to high school with. Dylan Gabriel became the 9th rookie quarterback to face Mike. Will become the 9th rookie quarterback to face Mike Tomlin in one of their first 2 career starts.
Yeah.
The other 8 have only won against Tomlin 2 times.
Yeah.
Good indicator there of Mike Tomlin against early rookie quarterbacks. He's had a ton of success against those guys in his career.
To be fair, I bet that's not just a Tomlin stat. I mean, how many rookie quarterbacks the first 2?
I bet you
first
most
2 starts,
good,
I mean, even the best ones
successful
probably
coaches
didn't
in the
go
league.
2-0.
Right. Right. That's a great point too. That's why
it's tough to win your first start.
The Ben Roethlisbergers and the Jaden Daniels of the world that hit the ground running and win a ton of games when they're rookies are
rare.
So rare.
Yeah.
Last one for Tomlin.
But I know where you're going with this one. This is an accident to me.
This is his 19th season as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. 14-4 in his previous 18 years coming off of a bye week.
It's massive.
Fantastic.
It's phenomenal.
Fantastic.
And most times your opponent isn't coming from overseas on a road game.
With a rookie quarterback making his second ever start.
Exactly. There's a lot of stuff,
Lot to like in that regard. Finally, just to kind of paint the picture of how stinking good TJ Watt and Myles Garrett are.
They're pretty awesome.
They are pretty outstanding.
Yeah.
This to me is like Crosby and Ovechkin get drafted into the same division and, are so much better than everybody else.
Reminds me of Ed Reed and Polamalu. They were 1 year apart.
Ed Reed and Polamalu in the same division.
Right, yeah.
Exactly right. Great example by you. TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, first and second, respectively, in sacks in the league since they entered it in 2017. 111 for TJ, 106.5 for Myles. No other player has more than 85 during that time.
Daniil Hunter, too. I mean, who's a really good player, too, but no one's even close.
That's just ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous,
not even in the same breath, not even in the same vein. That, to me, paints the picture of just how good those two are. They both at times can kind of downplay the personal rivalry. I do think Myles has leaned into it a little bit more than TJ has, but that's also what happens when
that's his personality,
and
too.
when you're on the losing side of those things, I think you want to puff your chest out a little bit more when it does go your way. But man, very fortunate to watch those two now for darn near a decade.
pretty awesome. Yeah,
pace the league in that department. And again,
they're both awesome.
No one else.
They might go to the Hall of Fame together. Who knows? I mean,
that'd be something.
Right?
Wouldn't it, if they retired at the same time and went into the Hall of Fame together. But those two pretty stinking good at their craft. We all knew that, but especially when you consider, I mean, there's no one else even within 20 sacks of those two in that time period.
Right, just blowing everybody away.
That's insane.
And obviously, guys like Parsons came along later. They're not going to,
Sure.
But, if you just did the Parsons stretch, maybe it's close. But,
sure. That's a good point by you. But, yeah, there's, again, not many guys. He might be one of the very few that you can even kind of put in that same stratosphere.
No question.
In the time that they have been in the National Football League. One more segment to go when we return on the other side. We'll turn it over to you on Twitter. We got a few tweets rolling in here already that I've saved. If you want to lob a last-minute Hail Mary at us, at Williamson NFL, at Wesley Uhler is where you can get involved. We'll close down with your participation on the other side. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Final segment here of The Drive on a Thursday. Matt, what do you say we go to the tweets to close us down?
Love it.
Annie tweets us. She was at the Fitzsimons Temple Bar with us in Dublin as well.
Yeah.
Nice
Awesome.
to have Annie
rocking
and rolling here still. A couple quick hitters from her. Number one, is Patrick Queen having a sneaky good season?
Yeah, he is. And I think getting better and better, too.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I mean, I think people were a little disappointed in him last year. Wasn't Jack Lambert his first season, you know what I mean? I think he's getting better and better, real baby steps.
He's showing
it's not
up
like
everywhere.
Leaps and bounds. Yeah, I agree.
Number two, are trap games a real thing in the NFL, or is it just that the other team has good players and coaches too?
I don't know. I've thought that a lot. I think you'd have to really ask a player.
It's not Michigan losing to Appalachian State.
Right.
Right.
Like Lab said, I mean, anyone can lose to anybody. I mean, I believe that.
I've never really bought into that trap game thing.
Yeah.
In college football, I do.
Oh, in college, I do. There's 18, 19-year-olds, and you easily take people lightly.
If you're Pitt and you're playing Central Michigan and you're WVU and you're playing Robert Morris, and then the next week's the backyard brawl.
Sure.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
But these guys are so professional. They're so locked in.
And I bet even like the Georgias and Ohio States will tell you, yeah, but we end up winning anyways. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Okay, the first quarter was bad, but then...
We might not cover the 44-point spread.
Right.
But
we took them lightly, but
yes.
It doesn't matter. I mean, like, I think basketball is absolutely that way. Like, Duquesne hangs with a Pitt or what. I don't know enough about basketball, but somebody noticeably better for a half or even three quarters, and then eventually it's like, I can't keep this up for 60 minutes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes, exactly right. Last one from Annie. This is right up your alley. She says, I need your thoughts on my idea of a Godfather epic, a mashup of Godfather 1 and 2 with bonus footage of Michael offing the guy who killed his first wife.
I think it exists.
Is that the
There's like 5 bonus
TV
prizes
we're just talking about?
Coda's different.
Because that's like a recut of the third, right?
There is a version where you watch it from De Niro, like chronologically.
Okay.
And there's like 5...
So maybe that's what she's talking about then.
Oh, I thought she made it sound like she came up with the idea.
Maybe that's I just read it wrong.
No, it's awesome. I mean, and there is like 5 bonus things in there.
How long is it?
Long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 1 and 2 combined plus a little bit in there.
Do they cut out parts of 1 and 2 though, or is it? Oh, okay.
From what I remember. It's been a while since I've watched it that way.
Check that out.
It's great. And there's some scenes where Vito as De Niro, early, goes back to Sicily and whacks the people that killed his father.
Okay.
People like that. So there's some...
I need to get on that.
Yeah. She must not think she came up with this idea.
No, I think I just read it. I think I just read it wrong.
It's the best way to watch.
Okay.
I mean, the original way's flawless, but I mean,
sure,
it's a cool way to watch it.
Okay.
Instead of bouncing back to.
I was actually saying this to my wife just a few days ago, and I know you love The Godfather, so I've only ever watched the 3 Godfather movies one time, and it was my freshman year of college when I was like 19.
Okay. Well, the third's nothing like the first.
I need to do this off season when I have time. And one of the things that I like to do in the off season is go back and watch old movies and things like that, and unplug from sports a little bit.
Oh yeah. No, I base a
list.
lot of my life choices off of Godfather stuff.
I'm
not even like trying to like be funny. Right. I mean, yeah, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer, and learn to think as those around you think.
Learn to think as those around you think.
I love my son to no end, and he is into movies, and he's watched many that I have, but he hasn't. I mean, that's a tough ask for an 18-year-old.
It is.
I mean, it's long. Everyone kind of looks the same and sounds the same. I mean, even now I've seen him a million times, and I'll get something out of it. Yeah. Oh, that's what Clemenza meant by that. Right.
Brad tweets, who starts more games this year, Mason Rudolph or Shedeur Sanders? Shedeur Sanders.
Sanders.
Be. I'm hoping Mason starts none.
I hope
not.
not.
A knock on him.
I mean, there's only one way he starts.
Correct, and that's not good for the Steelers, whereas I think Shedeur will start a game regardless.
Yeah.
Unless Gabriel completely blows the doors off.
I don't know if they plan on it right now, the Browns, but they have to know if they have a quarterback in their building or not.
Yes.
If Gabriel's okay,
by the time
decent,
January rolls around, they
right.
need to know, are we taking one with one of our high picks,
right.
or do we believe in one of these guys?
And I would think you need to give Sanders, if Gabriel's awesome, great. Sanders never sees the field. He's backup. Maybe he's trade bait. And frankly, there's a lot of teams out there that should call about it.
Yeah.
You could do worse. But if Gabriel's just a 4 or 5 out of 10 by rookie standards, you might want to throw Sanders in there for the last month just to see. I mean, he's more talented.
I think that should be the case.
Yeah,
should be the case. Steeler Nation 920 tweets and says, Matt, don't let Wes lie to you. He has a secret love for Baker Mayfield deep down. Do you guys think even when Alex Highsmith is back and healthy, we should see an increase in Herbig's snap count?
Yeah, we talked about this a lot over a couple of days. Yes. You can't keep him off the field.
Absolutely.
Not like totally in favor of Highsmith. I'm not saying Highsmith's a backup or anymore. He's the 3. But I would definitely incorporate a lot of snaps for Herbig.
I think
maybe
so too.
less for Watt and Highsmith.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Last one, Angry Bike Lane tweets and says, did Wes really sneak in a Mateer could be back sooner when talking about the Red River rivalry yesterday?
Did you do that on purpose?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
If you didn't, you should say you did it on purpose.
Listen, again, my thoughts on the University of Oklahoma are very fractured, okay? My dad, I don't know if I've ever told you this before.
I say, why do you hate it? What's your problem with Oklahoma?
Because in the pre-COVID years where WVU football was still good, before we went on this 7-year worst stretch of football we've played in 50 years, it was like 2014, 2016, 2017, 2018, we would play Oklahoma in the last game of the year, and they'd be ranked 3rd or 4th, and we'd be ranked 14th, and they'd beat the crap out of us.
And they're better,
yeah. So it's not that I hate them or anything, but it's just, they're a better
Pitt.
program than us. They beat the crap out of us.
Yeah.
But my dad used to teach violin lessons in Norman every summer.
Really?
Oklahoma would bring him out for a couple weeks. He'd do like master classes at their music school.
Oh, okay.
My mom and I would go out and stay with them. So I actually did enjoy my time there and the campus and all that.
Yeah.
But I like making Sooner jokes when I can.
Okay.
It fits.
Okay.
It's pretty,
Nice.
I'm
glad somebody caught that. I didn't when we did it live.
Well, hopefully we'll see Mateer sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
A reminder, some big college football games to keep an eye on
I am
Saturday.
psyched to watch more of that dude.
Yeah. Me as well, too.
Yeah, he's fun to watch.
But that will do it for us today. Thanks to everybody who hopped in on the tweets. We'll continue to try and do that on Thursdays as we roll along. Big thanks to Bob Labriola for joining us, to our producer, Mr. TV, Tyler V, for making us look pretty on YouTube, and a big shout-out to Swiss on Swiss himself, Matt Williamson.
Oh, I was born on 6/6.
Oh, that's
Do you know that part? Yeah.
Part
of my 6/6 love.
I think in our, I know we've told this story a million times, and we got to get the break here, but we would drive. You and I and Dale would drive out to the combine for the last 7 or 8 years together.
Oh, yeah.
5 hours to Indy, 5 hours back, and inevitably at some point, you and I would start talking about hockey and drive Dale crazy.
Hockey history, and it's like the only time I talk hockey all year.
That's it.
And he's like, "Oh my god."
I also learned because Lemieux just turned 60 last week.
I know.
Him and Patrick Waugh were born on the exact same day. Isn't that wild?
That is pretty
Like,
crazy.
not different years apart. The
Right,
exact same day.
That's cool.
Like, maybe the best forward of all time, maybe the best goalie of all time.
Pretty
Same
crazy.
exact day. That is pretty crazy. There's your random fun fact for the week. But that will do it for us today. We will be back tomorrow. 5-Star Friday, full Browns preview, all that good
Got a
stuff.
Thursday nighter tonight.
Thursday nighter tonight between the Eagles and the Giants. Can the Eagles get over that first loss in 10 months? Can the Giants get more belief in Jackson Dart? That'll be a fun one to watch that we will recap at some point tomorrow as well. But that'll do it for us today. Take care, everybody. We will talk to you tomorrow. As always, you know where to find us. It's on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. It's Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.